la luce, andiamo. Battito nel petto, senti l'energia, uniti nel ritmo, pura magia. Voce nel vento, chiama per noi, passi nel tempo, andiamo poi.
Little Charlie keeps his secrets in a box beneath the bed. Folded notes of broken wishes, things he never said. The Christmas lights are flickering like they're shivering in the cold. And Charlie feels much older than the years he's ever told. He listens to the quiet, but the quiet isn't kind. It echoes all the questions that live inside his mind. So hold the snow, don't let it fall. Little Charlie's barely standing tall. tiny voice in winter, lost beneath a trembling word. Oh, hold the snow, don't let it go. Tonight he's breaking slow. Little Charlie draws a family, smiling on the page. Pretends the world is gentle for a moment while he saves a bit of fragile hope inside the lines he tries to trace. But even crayons shake when tears fall slowly down his face. He wonders if the sunrise could warm the hurt away. But Christmas keeps returning to the same old yesterday. So hold the snow, don't let it fall. Little Charlie's barely standing tall. He's whispering to shadows just to feel a little heard. A tiny voice in winter, lost beneath a trembling word. Oh, hold the snow, don't let it go. Tonight he's breaking slow. And maybe years from now he'll find a softer kind of truth, a home that isn't shaking, a heart that keeps its youth. But tonight the world is heavy and he's smaller than the pain. Little Charlie closes tired eyes and counts the stars by name. So hold the snow, just let it stay, a blanket for his heart today. If Christmas can't be peaceful, let the winter try instead to lift the weight of memories that echo in his head. Oh, little Charlie, breathe again. Someday you'll feel the light, but until then, let snow fall guard your fragile soul tonight.
there are not everybody here is an atheist. Okay. In fact, the gentleman that we were just talking to, I believe, said he believed in God and said that he was Christian.
Christian.
He said, in fact, he said he was, did he say Baptist? Not Methodist.
Wasn't me.
He said
but yeah.
Pardon? I'm sorry.
It wasn't me, but thanks for allowing me to speak. Thanks.
Sure, yeah. So no, not everybody here is an atheist. And John Kitover, who just came in, claims not to be an atheist.
Hello?
All right. That makes a lot of sense. Well, I had some questions.
Sure.
How can you look yourself in the mirror every day and know you supported Karen Bass? I just don't understand you, Dr. Adams. I just don't understand you.
I mean, my home is still there, buddy.
I mean, what are you gonna want me to say, Kitover? What do you want me to say? Karen Bass is actually doing good for Los Angeles. She's protecting Jewish people. You know, down the street from my house, there's, an LAPD cop car that's parked next to the Shabbat. So I'm trying to understand, Kitover, what is your point of contention with Karen Bass?
Well, it's not really. Now that I know she's defending the Jews, I think we can work together for the common good of the community, for peace and for justice and for truth. So let's partner up today, Dr. Adams.
I'm telling you, Kitover, I feel like, a lot of people have kind of gotten lost in political talking points. I mean, Nithya Raman, do you feel like, as a person that, wants to engage geopolitically, do you feel like Nithya Raman is going to be the answer?
How can she be the answer when she is the problem herself? She has no guru. She does not read the Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishads. She is just she's a senseless, agnostic, atheist, communist, socialist, just like Karen Bass. But that's okay because she's a radical communist, and they don't know they don't know the source of the money and how economics really works. They're very low IQ. That's my opinion.
No, I think they're definitely low IQ.
Dude, you saw my comments in that Trump House room where everybody is defending Carmelo Anthony and calling for his release, and they're saying it was all self-defense. We have delusional people who project their ideology outside of rational reality. And these are dangerous people, and I think you recognize that as well, is that we are living in a society with actually very dangerous people who do have homicidal ideation, or they approve of homicidal activity, and therefore we're living with NFRs. Are you familiar with what an NFR is? He doesn't want to answer the question. Hello, Dr. Adams, can you hear me? Are you familiar with the term NFR? Apparently he's not familiar with this term.
Believe in Jesus, generally, right? Not in a bad way. Just it has been really difficult to get over the experience I had, and I don't know anyone who would want to do that. Who believes in Jesus, believes that
we should be good people, we should mirror the life of Christ, and the character of Christ and all of that, and go out of their way to intentionally try to inflict pain on other people in the name of the Lord, like in the name of the Lord, and trying to justify it from the scriptures and all. It's the highest form of evil I think I've ever encountered or ever experienced or ever come in contact with. It's not something I want to talk about, right? So here I am, right? I have had conversations with Christians. Maybe Scott might have a different point of view. I'm a very open-minded person. I've had a few conversations with Muslims. I was like, what's the basis for your religion? And they were like, oh, we believe in Allah, we worship. And I was like, okay, so it's the same cycle of worshiping and believing and reading the Quran, kind of work. And they were like, oh, there are distinctions, and they were trying to draw that out and all, but still didn't make a lot of sense. So yeah, I'd like to hear from an atheist point of view what your what's the basis for your belief? What's it with? Is it a belief? What's your argument? Yeah, I'm very open-minded.
You mean you want to know why I don't believe in God? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you, pretty much.
Sure, I'll be happy to tell you. Because I don't believe in the paranormal. I don't believe in the supernatural. I find a lot of the events in the Bible could not have happened because they both all logic as well as all common sense and science. Not that I rely on science for everything, but most of my beliefs I rely on science. And I've taken a look at a lot of the evidence over many years in support of God and a lot of the evidence against the existence of God. And I find the evidence against the existence of God more substantial, more compelling, and more believable. That's why I don't believe in God.
Okay. Is this I understand that the question was, why don't you believe in God?
Yeah.
So the follow-up question would be that, would you on good authority say that you speak for maybe not all but a good percentage of atheists?
I can speak for atheists in that atheists have one thing and only one thing in common, and that is we do not believe that God exists. Other than that, all of us atheists, which by the way are about 500 million in the world, 8 to 10% of the population, have different world views, different thoughts on life, different values, and a different moral code. We only have one thing and only one thing in common. We do not believe God exists. I can speak for other atheists in regards to that and that alone. Other than that, I speak for myself only.
Okay. So since we are focusing on...
By the way, I have to ask you, do you have a swing in the background or some type of metal chain that's going back and forth?
Yeah, putting it...
It's kind of distracting. I was able to put up with it for a while, but it was getting louder, so it was distracting me. But we can try and fight through it.
Is it better?
Yeah, we'll fight through it. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I was saying that since we are focusing on proof for the purpose of this conversation, because as I said before, I am in search of answers. I would ask to know what I could call it an evidence, right? What evidence backs up whatever stance that you have. I'm not here to critique anything.
You want me to provide you the evidence why I don't believe in God? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Sure.
I would like to
well, as I said, God involves a supernatural, paranormal, higher power being. Do we agree with that?
Yeah.
And God presumably has done and or continues to do a lot of things that are supernatural and paranormal. Do we agree with that?
Yeah, to a degree.
To a degree. Okay, fair enough. I don't believe in the supernatural or the paranormal. I do not agree that a lot of the events that are described in the Bible actually took place. For example, Moses parting the Red Sea, Moses turning a dead piece of wood into a cobra snake, Jesus walking on water, Jesus taking Lazarus from the dead and making him live again. And of course, last but not least, Jesus being dying on the cross and then being resurrected. I don't believe any of those things are true. I don't believe those things are true because they defy all logic, all science, all common sense. I also don't believe. I don't believe in heaven. I don't believe in hell. I don't believe that angels are real. And I don't believe in the devil. And I don't believe that God is looking down on all 7.5 billion people on the planet. There's a plethora of evidence for you why I don't believe in God.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Hey, excuse me. This is progressive. Etam, I got a new question for Steve. Steve, what's it?
John, you can ask me your question in a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you go back on turn? Thank you. Mod abuse. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it's a lot different for me. You know why it's different?
Yes,
Really?
because you believe it and because you believe in God.
Yes, right. And now
Yeah.
it's funny, I guess.
I wasn't laughing at you. I'm sorry. I have a tendency to oversimplify. I'm sorry.
Oh, right. Understood. Now, as I said before, I'm at a crossroads. I'm at a crossroad, right? At the crossroads. However that's
You know what? This conversation might go a little better, and we've been talking for a while, and it's been an interesting conversation. Can I ask you a couple of questions which might get us to hit the nail on the head? And if you feel uncomfortable, just don't answer them, if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think you said you're Christian, yes?
I said
I'm sorry?
I said go ahead.
I didn't hear you. You're Christian, yes or no?
I'm Christian.
Okay. And when you say you're at a crossroads, are you at a crossroads regarding your belief in God or Christianity? Or both?
Both. I would say both.
Fair enough. This is going to seem weird, but it's very important. Do you pay your own bills? It's an important question. Is somebody paying your bills for you, or are you paying your own bills?
I'm paying my own bills.
Okay, and here's the reason why I ask. So you don't have to answer to anybody. Nobody is going to cut you off. You're not going to go homeless if you all of a sudden decide to change religions, to drop religions, or change your belief in God. I can tell you this, and you may have heard me say it earlier. If God is working for you, which it appears right now you have questions on, but if God is working, you should keep God in your life. But the same thing goes for Christianity. If Christianity is not currently working for you, then maybe you should step back. There's a large part of what country do you live in? The United States or a different country?
Oh no, I don't live in the United States.
Do you want to say what country you live in?
Yeah, that's totally fine. I live in Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay, very good. There's a growing segment of the population around the world that are departing from their religions that they grew up with. They still believe in God, but they are becoming non-affiliated with their religion. And if you are currently at a crossroads and becoming dissatisfied with both God and the Christian religion, and you're considering leaving, what I would suggest is don't leave. You don't necessarily have to participate going to your houses of worship. You said you had some bad experiences. You can absolutely still believe in God. You can still worship and follow the Christian religion on your own. You don't need a pastor. You don't need a priest. And you don't need a house of worship to do that. You can do that on your own and do some deep soul searching. From what I'm hearing from you, I would not yet today automatically leave God and leave the Christian religion, but you might want to consider taking a few steps back from the religious community in the houses of worship that you've spent all of your life in, and do some soul searching and some reevaluating. How does that sound? Good, back, good, bad, out, completely out of left field?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Do you mind if you let that simmer and digest for a bit and we move on? Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's totally fine. We can move on.
Okay. I enjoyed speaking to you. I hope you enjoyed speaking to me.
I did.
Thank you. Deepak. Hi, Deepak. Welcome. Hi, Deepak.
Hello.
Well, if you don't want to... Oh, hey, hi.
Yeah. Hey.
That's okay. Did you want to speak now or did you want to wait?
Yeah. I was hoping you would permit me to share the good news.
I'd love to hear the good news.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, and Itam, you might want to hear this as well. So the good news is that you may be able to save 30% or more on your car insurance by switching to Geico.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And that is true. You just not might be able to do that. Good point. Okay, John Kitover, you wanted to contribute. Go ahead.
Yeah, Steve.
John Kitover.
This is progressive liberal, aka John Kitover. Steve, you explained to Etom your beliefs about atheism.
No, Etom's not on stage. I didn't speak to Etom. What are you talking? Oh, you mean
the previous speaker? Yeah.
I was just speaking to. That's why I called her. Yeah, go ahead.
So, my questions that came to mind when I heard you explaining your position is, you make a lot of all or nothing statements about what is truth, what is a fact. This is categorically an opinion, things like that. So my questions that came to mind was like, can you explain to us what an analogy is or what a metaphor is, and is an analogy or a metaphor truthful? That's my question to you.
It's when you compare one thing to another. That's it.
Okay, but is it truthful? If I give you an analogy, would you consider it a truth?
Well, you give me an analogy and I'll tell you if I think it's true. Go ahead.
Well, I don't want to answer that question that you want me to give you an analogy. I was asking you if an analogy or a metaphor can be true. That's my question to you.
Oh, can it be true? Absolutely. Of course it can be true. It can also not be true.
Okay. So I just wanted to confirm I'm actually dealing with a rational person. And I'm happy to be here in the after party.
You've known me for a couple of years. You don't know whether or not I'm rational yet?
Well, is it rational to get angry on a free conference call phone?
I said you've known me for a couple of years. You
Hello?
don't know that I'm rational yet?
Hello? I'm sorry.
Yeah, hello.
I can't hear you.
Again,
You're so loud. Hello? You're so
Just
loud I
like
can't
you
hear
always
you.
do.
I can't hear you. You're too loud. And you sound angry. I can't argue with you. You're angry. I'm happy. Leave me
Want to
alone.
argue with me?
I'm happy. Leave me alone. You angry. I can't argue with you.
Say you can't argue with me.
Because you angry. And I'm happy. I can't argue with you. And so, now that we're in the Ask the Atheist after party, and it's a soiree, ladies and gentlemen, if you believe that Jesus Christ or Moshe Rabbeinu or Muhammad or Krishna, if you have a belief in the divine, I would just say that Steve here is actually a dramatist, because I read a book. Steve doesn't read books anymore, but I read books, and it talks about the three primary forms of art, which is drama making, artwork like paintings, or making music. But drama, not many people consider drama to be an art. And drama requires communication. So Steve is actually a creator of drama communication. But he's low IQ, and yeah, he did ride the short bus, and he didn't read enough books in the library. But he's here to create drama for you. This is a content creation experiment, a content show. And you can participate in it and have fun. But to get angry over people's positions is very juvenile. And it's very low IQ to get emotionally invested in a free conference call. I am complete, and thank you for listening.
Shaho, yeah, Shaho, hi, you're up
hello.
next. Hang on a second.
Okay,
Hang on a
with
second.
my most
Can you hear me?
respect.
Can you hear me? Hang on just a second. Let's go Shaho and then Human. Okay, Shaho, you're up. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
With my most respect, thank you very much. With my most respect, Mr. Progressive, or maybe gay boy, shut the fuck up and leave the chat or room. Because this is not for you. Okay. Well, first of all, hello, Steve.
Wait, did you just tell me to shut the fuck up, gay boy? I gotta speak up, Steve. This is abusive, and harassment. And I'm sorry.
Up in the audience, speak up all you want. Yeah, go ahead, Shaho.
Okay, thank you. Well, this is the kind of stuff that man would do, and I appreciate that. Well, first of all, I wanna say that this is a great opportunity to speak about thoughts, about ideas, and I realized that a previous year, I just faced a channel that a guy like you that speaks about some atheist stuffs and some knowledge about it, but you difference from that. I apologize because of my weakness of my speaking English.
Your English is just fine. Continue.
Thank you. Because English is my third language.
What are your first two? What are your first two?
My first is Kurdish.
And the second?
Second is Persian.
Keep going.
Thank you. Well, those channel, it's supposed to be the fastest growing channel in this stuffs like atheist theories and some conversations about some of the point of that. I don't know, but your channel is different. Is having huge difference than the other channel. The difference is that you don't focus on the kind of some speaking about some suburbs, what the words used for the suburbs in cities, what the suburbs in the discussions.
I'm sorry, I was momentarily distracted. Was that a question? I missed the question. I'm sorry.
No, thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, continue.
My bad, bro.
Thank you for the compliments about the atheism house. Please continue.
Okay, yeah. Well, previous year I realized that I'm atheist too, but I have questions. I have a couple of questions, so maybe we discuss about it in this room, and maybe it would be helpful to speak about it, and some guys and people will listen and learn too. So the question is, if God creates the world, creates the universe, so why he keep it away from him? Why he get out his control of the universe and keep everything automatic and
Well, I think you're referring to the deist point of view. The deists believe that God created the universe, and then once he finished, his job was over. He has not been intricately involved in what's happened after the creation. However, what you could also add to that, what I add to that, is that if God, pardon me, let me rephrase. What I add to that is if God exists, God is purposely holding back the proof that he does exist. God, all powerful, all knowing, that which was, that which is, and that which will be. God, if God exists, God is purposely holding back the proof that he exists.
Uncle Steve, I think this is Soren Kierkegaard's argument. I
don't know, but I'm glad you're back.
Hi, Steve. This is. I think Kierkegaard makes the. It's sort of like.
Let me just tell you where we're at. We've got the gentleman that was on stage and asked the question. He left. Okay, we're a Christian and JCC are new, and then I don't know if you heard the discussion with. Oh no, I was talking. I'm sorry. I believe I was talking with Shoho.
Yeah, that's
Shoho.
correct.
We were just okay. So it's Shoho, Christian, and JCC. Back to you, Reverend Scott.
Yeah, I want to say that this is Kierkegaard's argument. Yeah, the king and the maiden. This is this idea that this king disguises himself as a beggar. It's a parable that disguises himself as a beggar to sort of win this maiden's love because he wants to be assured that the love is genuine, right? That it's not because of his illustrious power and fame and wealth. And so he disguised, and this is, Kierkegaard said this is sort of the reason for the incarnation, where God would come as this poor servant in Christ, hiding his divine nature or something. So that's Soren Kierkegaard, who I always think would be so interesting if he had met Nietzsche, because they are both great existentialists, and one was a believer and one was not. So there you go. Christian, have you repented of your Unitarianism yet?
I have not. I know.
Don't you want to be part of the Orthodox team?
Oh, no.
I would do it just because, it's just be on the winning team.
I mean, I think of that, and then I think of how many, kids in Orthodox and Catholic churches, are assaulted every year, and it kind of just turns me off. I don't really like that idea. I would prefer to keep my innocence. It's nice, with Unitarianism, because we don't have like a huge organized church. Ours are pretty simple and small. Which
I heard that they start the prayers in the Unitarian Church, to whom it may concern.
No, they don't. They don't. As much as most people would think, and that was a fun.
Uncle Steve, thank you for holding down this illustrious room.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. Well,
we got some great folks here. LS, my buddy from the Southwest. Love that guy.
The Southwest.
He's from the Southwest, the dry heat, as they say. Alma, how are you? Nice to see you.
Good evening, and that's Scott, and Steve, and everyone else. How are you?
Doing great. We got some.
Well, and I've been listening to you guys on and off most of the day today. I had some things to do, and I didn't want to annoy anyone too much. So I figured I'll just listen, and here we are now near the end, I think, for you guys, or maybe not, but not a lot of people are participating. So I figured I'll run something by you. I always have, ideas about stuff. I do a lot of reading, and consequently, you pick up a lot of stuff. And I got all sorts of ideas kind of running around in my head. Some of them I don't know what to make of. Some of them make some sense. I've been reading about the demise of the Roman Empire. a little bit. And it's not something new. I've known about that for a long time. But one of the more interesting narratives that I've come across recently is, it was not, I mean, these things don't happen overnight and it's not sudden. And it's a gradual thing, and it's the accumulation of a lot of bad decisions and bad deeds and the consequences to awful behavior. But by the time people realize it, it's already too late. But one of the things that they talked about in this particular narrative I was reading, it was the population decline. I mean, these guys literally kind of more or less died out. The cycle of life works its way on them. And eventually, I'm not going to say there was no one left. Of course, there was plenty of people left. But those who were left were not enough to keep the empire going. And it just kind of fell under its own weight. There wasn't enough men and women, mostly men at the time, to kind of do the heavy lifting. And this kind of brings us into all the stuff that we've been hearing about. Now, Elon Musk has been the champion of this particular story, but by no means the only one, kind of, ranting and raving, if you will, about the decline, about the birth rate, and how it's declining in most Western countries. And now it's even, I mean, it hasn't been enough to compensate for the death rate, but now it's like not even close, it's half. So in some places, Korea is used as an example, in 3 generations, which is a lifetime of one person nowadays, it could be, you could be looking at like a population collapse. So the question is, I mean, what do we have to do to get people to F again and have kids? It would seem like it's a straightforward enough process that's been going on for a long time. And most of us, I think, have figured out how to do it. Yet, not a lot of people are doing it seems. And I do see places in Europe that talk about this kind of stuff and try to emphasize it. Some of the European countries, Scandinavians, and Holland, the Netherlands, and Denmark, and places like Belgium, smaller countries, they've always incentivized childbearing and child rearing. It doesn't seem like it's working out. What ended up working out is that they brought a lot of foreigners who are producing a lot of babies and looking basically to change the makeup and the identity of the country. So that didn't work out very well. And now in the States, you start to hear in print, in news, whenever they talk about this, they talk about the anchor baby. This was not a term used out loud in media, not until maybe 10 years ago. You knew about it, but it was not used like that. And now when we use it here about people coming here and having an anchored baby, it's always a negative connotation. It always implies that these people or these women, let's say, because men can't get pregnant no matter what anyone says, these women are coming here and they are setting up shop or establishing base for something far more nefarious further down the road. So, and with the deportation, on in full strength, some deported, but their children, because they were here, are left behind if they don't choose to take them with them. So we are in a mess, and I don't know how to fix it, but the bottom line is the birth rate is very low, and we need to fix it. And, we can learn about from China, a place with a lot of people, lots and lots of people. And for the longest time in China, for about 40 years, maybe more, they've had a one-child policy because they were trying to curb the population growth. And by and large, they succeeded. It was very ugly. It was very unpleasant. A lot of girls were killed at birth because, some of those families, they wanted boys for whatever reason. Well, I think we know the reason. We're not going to get into it. And now, and then as time marched on, you ended up with an imbalance between men and women. It seems like, nature always favored more women by a very small percentage. But when you go out and say one-child policy, and an increasingly number of people keep killing the girls until they have a boy, you end up with a lot of single men in the future. And not only that, now they're talking as China is back to encouraging people to have more kids, because even though with 1 billion and change people, it doesn't take long for the population to collapse if you don't have enough young people coming up to to work and produce and pay taxes and help cover the expenses of the old people. So it's a tricky situation. It's not clear what the fix for it is. You gotta be very careful. One minute you have a baby boom and too many babies, and then you scale down, you cut down on that and you reduce it to one child. Then barely a couple of generations later, you're looking at a demographic bomb. So I don't know what you're gonna do, Uncle Steve, but I'm asking you here, what is the plan to make people F more and have more babies? Thank you.
You want Steve to encourage people to fuck more? Okay.
well, hold on. Let's Steve answer the question.
Yeah, I just made a comment. So if I say one word, everybody erupts because I spoke. It's like it's not like I interrupted.
JCC, exactly.
For fuck's sake, I just made a comical statement and I get interrupted. Almari, calm. Oh my God.
I found it very funny and I'm responding in the same manner. Yes, I want Uncle Steve to be in charge of people fucking. Thank you.
Okay, now that's insane. I'm just gonna.
I'll respond very quickly. It's a fact that the world population has not suffered a decrease in over 100 years. And I do not see the world population decreasing anytime soon, regardless of what's going on one particular country. So I am not worried about it. That's my response.
But however, there is a big decrease globally in birth rates. And it seems to be a concern, especially for economists, and it's also a benefit to the environment because decreasing populations decreases the footprint that damages the climate. So that's one good thing. But there are issues because the workforce causes struggle on tax revenue, like Almari was bringing up. However, I think it's kind of like, the climate change. It ebbs and flows. Same with populations. It's going to ebb and flow. And like Steve said, I'm not too worried about it either because it's within us as a society to keep society going. And this may be a good thing. A little decrease in population is not necessarily a bad thing. So, yeah.
What's interesting is this happens in wealthy nations, right? I mean, the reason why the population continues to increase at a significant rate is countries that are less developed have more kids, right? The only advanced economy that has a replacement birth rate, I believe, is Israel. And I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but what I've heard anecdotally from friends like Eitan is that their numbers are really inflated by the ultra-Orthodox who have a bunch of kids, that if you factored out the ultra-Orthodox, Israel's birth rate would look a lot like Western Europe's or the United States. So interesting.
When the world population decreases 5 to 10 years in a row, I'll start worrying about it. Until then, I'm not worried.
Well, there's a good thing studies have been done on this. And what they've concluded is that in about let's see, what, it's 2026. In about 75 to 100 years, we're going to reach around, give or take, 10 to 11 billion people on the earth. And then there's going to be a dramatic decrease back to the original amount that we have around now over the course of about 50 years, if not more. And then it will stabilize again. The reason that is just because of basic population patterns. And just because we see this large decrease in populace worldwide or per country is not something to be alarmed about. This is something that we have already put thought into to prepare for.
I agree with Reverend Scott that it's a matter of wealth. The wealthier nations get, the more its people become preoccupied with other crap, and they stop, popping babies. The only unique thing about this year, and the reason why a lot of people, I think, are concerned and are ringing alarm bells, is that in Europe in particular, along with a huge decline in the native population, the indigenous people of these of European countries, there is a huge migration from other places, and those people are fucking like crazy. And they are increasing, and they are having a lot of kids, and they are taking advantage of the services that the state offers, or the state used to, wanted to offer to its own people to have more kids. So it's a very nefarious way of thinking. I try not to see it that way, but ultimately that is where things are headed. You go to many of those countries, and the natives make up a small, less than half the population. So the question now is, who is the rest of the population? They are people who have no interest of assimilating and becoming part of that country, and they are having a lot of babies. And therein lies the problem. That's not a demographic problem so much anymore. It's a political, and it's a societal, issue as well. But there's something to be said about being well off, and you would think people who are well off would want to have more kids, or I can afford it. I can put them through college. I can raise a bunch of children. It seems like the more money people have, the more dogs they have, and I love dogs. I can't tell you how I love them more than most of my relatives. But people just stop having kids. They concentrate on other things. They want to travel. They want to go places. It used to be in this country up until the 50s, people got married out of high school mostly. That was your high school sweetheart, and you got married, and you had a bunch of kids. Now maybe you got a divorce 30 years later, but hey, by then all the kids were grown and everything was fine, and you contributed your part as a couple into increasing the population. Nowadays, with more women delaying having kids and less people getting married, just living together without any kids, it's creating a strange dynamic that the demographers, I don't think, are able to sort out 100% yet. But we'll figure it out. I don't think it's all bad news. It's just interesting. We could use less people. Finally, I'll just say, yes, I agree that we could use a little less people. It's probably better for the planet. It's better on the resources. And if we don't take that into account, and we have a population growth or a population explosion, Mother Nature is going to tell you. Mother Nature will do something that will thin the herd and will tell you, I don't like what you're doing, reset, and get back to more reasonable numbers. So luckily, I will not be around to see any of this.
Things work themselves out organically.
Agree, Jason. I wholeheartedly agree. Mother Nature's got a plan, and it's going to do it, whether we like it or not.
Well, I wouldn't say a plan, right? It doesn't intentionally have things set up, right? It does
Right.
what it does.
It just does what it does, but it has a way of sorting things out in the end.
Yeah, we call those the Darwin Awards.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't like a vacuum, and it doesn't like a jarring imbalance. It ends up resorting, reconfiguring things out. I love marriage. I love the way it works, and just fascinated by how it goes about doing its business.
Steve, I got a off-topic question for you.
Go ahead.
If you look at my PTR, and I know the eyesight, you might need to get your glasses. If you go to my PTR, you'll be able to see a room that I hosted with, the wonderful and only Day Day.
Bert and Day Day.
That's correct.
Should Day and Cypher get married?
Now, this is the important part. I put up a poll. Hold on, JCC. I put up a poll.
Calm down.
I know. I put up a poll asking if Day and Cypher should have a marriage, and Day responded with yes. Now, because he responded with yes, this is my question. If they do indeed get married, would you show up to the marriage?
I'm sorry, who were you hosting the room with?
It was Day Day showed up unexpectedly, but it was Bert that came in first.
You were hosting the room with Bert, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And who's getting married that will I attend?
Day and Cypher.
If Day and Cypher get married, will I attend?
Yeah. Because Day said he wants to marry Cypher, so I was just wondering if you wanted to attend that.
Who's hosting the wedding? Because I'll crash it for the food and the drink.
I would presume the Talking Apes is a house. I would presume. I mean,
the answer is yes. If I'm invited, I will attend. Yes.
Oh wow. Well, there you go, folks. Yeah. I wish Day Day the best of luck with his boyfriend or with his boyfriend's soon-to-be husband.
That's called a fiance.
Considering Day Day is already married. Well, actually, they're both married.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that sounds like something that we know in the Bible.
If you believe what they say is true.
Oh,
How long ago did you have this open public quick chat room?
Like give or take 30 minutes.
You did this 30 minutes ago?
No. I did it yesterday.
Oh, hilarious. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait. You had this room yesterday, and Day popped in after all the hoopla of being in a room with you.
Yeah, and he actually had a conversation with me.
Oh my God! What a fucking hypocrite!
He had a whole conversation with me, and
I thought that's what you were bringing up about him being the hypocrite, about hating you being on stages and in rooms, and here he is conversing in a room you opened up.
Oh yeah, he was talking with me a lot. He had a lot to say.
What a hypocrite!
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, he loved talking to Christian Hill. It was fantastic. It was a great conversation. Yeah, he had a lot to say about my autism and shit. But I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, pretty interesting.
That's hilarious.
I wonder what Moose in the audience has to say to that.
Yeah.
I mean, just after everything.
Friends, I want to play a little clip for you.
Oh,
no way to clip?
Perfect.
No.
This just came.
Not a clip. Get out.
Came from. Okay. This just came from Ezra Klein, who I love. I think he's. I like him. I think he's one of the best.
He's would have stayed stuck with it longer. Not forever, but what I'm saying is longer.
No, not me. I was in a pretty thriving community that was pretty large.
So there's about half as many Baha'i worldwide as there are Jews.
Yeah.
Interesting. I always that of course what the interesting thing there is just how few Jewish adherents there are worldwide.
Yeah.
Like 10 million.
Oh, well, I wouldn't compare it to Judaism. But Judaism is like it's like a lifestyle, right?
Well, but I think when, so I read that there's like 10 million Jews in the world, and I think that doesn't mean faithful. I think it probably does mean cultural or whatever. I think it would include people like Steve Appel.
People like who?
Well, so I was using Steve Appel. I don't know if you know Steve, but he runs the Ask an Atheist thing. He's Jewish, and doesn't
And
hesitate
he's
to
an
say
atheist.
so.
I know.
Yeah.
I conceded to that argument. I actually let him win because he was calling Jews atheists, and I was like, you know what? Hey, that's what you want to call Jews. Guess you win that one.
Well, that's kind of what I always say. All of my Jewish friends are atheists. So.
Yeah, well, but I don't think that's what Judaism actually means. But
no, it's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He conceded to saying that he is a Jew and is an atheist, and I said, well, it's kind of confusing for you to say it like that. And he doubled and tripled down. So I was like, you know what, man? If that's where you want to win, yeah, then you win, bro.
I think the thing he says that's sillier is when he talks about the fact that there are more Jewish people who are atheists than there are Christians who are atheists. I think, in fact, it's probably reasonable to say you can't be a Christian and an atheist, but you can obviously be a Jew and be an atheist.
Yeah, I think there is either some stuff going on in the background where he's being distracted, possibly, and he doesn't have his head in the game, or I don't know what's going on there, but maybe he missed something. Maybe he's just so used to saying it that it just became normal. And that's what I mean. I think a lot of people, when they speak to a certain crowd and they go into a different crowd, they bring in those definitions with them, right? And that's why I asked the guy before. I said, well, what do you mean by secular? Because I think in certain conversations, when we speak to certain people, like when I have conversations with Christians, right? Other Christians, right? We have our own way of explaining things. And then when we're trying to explain things maybe to a Muslim, I say to them, I say, hey, listen, man, you're kind of explaining it as if you were explaining it to another Christian. I said, you got to kind of dig deeper, and it's another way of speaking. And I think that's the reason why some people get frustrated and they say, oh, you don't understand what I mean. It's not that you don't understand, it's that you're speaking in a tone and with words mashed in together that have no meaning to the other to other crowds or other people. And I think atheists get stuck in this, they think they're speaking a universal language. And that just sounds like religion. So they got to be very careful. Just because you have a thought, it doesn't send that thought a shockwave through humanity and says, oh, this is how humans should think. It's not the case. I mean, I even know some religious people that do that too. I'm like, yo, you can't, But I started to build that and notice that when I started speaking to Muslims. I'm like, I can't explain it this way. They're not going to get it. They're not going to get it. Hope that makes sense.
John, is that the Shroud of Oxnard?
So I haven't quite decided what to call it, but yeah, I was talking to some people. Well, I wasn't talking so much. I was listening to a ridiculous conversation about the Shroud of Turin. People, of course, who know for sure that it's the real thing. So I just like that trick. Somebody in the conversation brought up apparently there's lots of other shrouds. Before Turin even made its appearance, there were lots of other shrouds that were known to be the real thing.
reminds me of Megatron's underpants. They've got a shroud in there. I have a question for the room about the ghost in the machine, aka the Holy Spirit. Do you think that it is a psychological experience or some type of a observation in the mind for people who claim there is this Holy Spirit? Is it just a condition, a state of mind? Is it the central nervous system being fully activated? How would you describe the Holy Spirit? Hello?
Good question.
Imagination.
Yeah, I think for most people, certainly I've heard some believers who I think are rational just say no. They just believe. They've been taught. They believe it. They like the belief, and I think that's all it takes. The question really is, how does somebody become convinced that God talks to them? I mean, I think that, and I don't know that God doesn't. I just kind of don't think it does.
Have you looked into that bicameral mind thing?
What mind?
Bicameral.
Bicameral?
Yeah, as in two houses.
Yeah, never heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a psychological theory that this guy came up with, that our left and right brain